You collapsed into bed like a lifeless body, thinking sleep would save you. But when you woke up, it felt like you'd just run a marathon through wet cement while your brain was being chewed on by static. How does a night of sleep leave you more shattered than a day of chaos? And here's the nightmare part. That was one of your good nights. You'd curl up in bed and unlock your phone like it's a lullaby, a modern-day bedtime story made of pixels and dopamine. You tell yourself it's how you unwind, just a few harmless scrolls before sleep. But that gentle glow? It's anything but gentle. It hijacks your brain, flooding it with artificial daylight, convincing your internal clock that it's high noon. Your body, desperate for rest, is forced into an alert state it never asked for. And the worst part? You don't feel it happening. Blue light doesn't just delay sleep. It disrupts the very chemistry that makes deep rest possible. Melatonin, your natural sleep hormone, gets blocked like an unwanted guest. Your stress hormone, cortisol, stays elevated. Instead of drifting into relaxation, your mind enters a state of hyper-readiness. Even if you fall asleep eventually, the quality of your sleep has already been compromised. You're not resting. You're sedating your exhaustion with chaos. But the screen's betrayal goes deeper. It's not just the light. It's the noise. The infinite scroll of videos, the unfinished group chats, the reels, the ads, the opinions. Every second your brain is sorting, judging, reacting, and that's not rest. That's a digital floodgate pouring stimulus into a nervous system already frayed. When you finally set the phone down, your body may be still, but your mind is wired. And no amount of closed eyes can reset that state. This isn't a sleep routine. It's a nightly ambush. A habit so normalized, we don't even question its cost. But every night you spend bathed in that glow, you trade in your deep sleep for digital noise. And what feels like comfort is quietly draining the very resource you need to survive the next day. Your rest. Your energy. Your clarity. Gone. And you watched it slip through your hands while believing you were doing nothing at all. You think you're winding down. The lights are low. Your room is quiet. Maybe there's soft music playing or a candle flickering. Everything on the outside says peace. But inside? You're a storm. Your heart is racing from conversations that never ended. Your mind is juggling regrets, plans, and imaginary arguments you haven't had yet. You look calm, but your body is bracing for impact. And the scariest part? You've gotten used to it. We've confused silence with stillness. Just because the world around you is quiet doesn't mean your nervous system is. You might be lying down, but inside you're sprinting through unfinished to-do lists, unsent texts, and the weight of every responsibility you never asked for. The bed isn't a safe space anymore. It's a courtroom, a battlefield, a therapy session without the therapist. And no amount of just relax will change that. This invisible tension is the reason you can't sleep. Not because you're not tired, but because your body doesn't feel safe enough to let go. Sleep isn't just a physical act. It's an emotional surrender. And if your brain is still locked in survival mode, analyzing threats or reliving shame, it won't hand over the keys to rest. It will fight, delay, resist. And you'll wake up more tired than when you lay down, wondering what went wrong. True rest starts before the pillow. It starts with clearing the mental static we've mistaken for thought. It starts with confronting the noise we've buried under productivity and distraction. You don't need more melatonin or a weighted blanket. You need relief. And no bedtime routine will save you if your mind is still clinging to unresolved chaos disguised as normal. It's 11:47 p.m. You were tired an hour ago. Ready for bed. Your body practically begged you to lie down. But you didn't. You kept scrolling, working, snacking, distracting. And now you feel weirdly awake, alert, wired, like a surge of energy just appeared out of nowhere. But here's the truth no one told you. This isn't energy. It's adrenaline. You missed your body's natural sleep window, and your brain responded the only way it knows how: panic. That second wind you rely on is not a gift. It's a stress response. Your nervous system is trying to compensate for the rest it never got. And so it flips the switch, flooding you with alertness to keep you functioning just a little longer. But it comes at a cost. You're borrowing from tomorrow's energy to survive tonight's denial. And you've built your life around this cycle. You stay up later, tricked by the illusion of productivity or relaxation. You tell yourself you're just a night owl, that you work better under pressure, that this is how you've always been. But those stories mask the truth. You're not optimizing your time. You're overriding your biology. You're forcing yourself into alertness when you should be surrendering to rest. The second wind isn't your secret weapon. It's a red flag, a flashing signal that your rhythm is broken and your body is scrambling to adapt. And every time you lean into it, you drift further from deep, healing sleep, the kind that rebuilds, restores, and revives. You're not catching momentum. You're escaping exhaustion. And eventually, that escape becomes your prison. You believe food is comfort, a quiet companion before sleep, but your body reads it as work. That late-night burger, the sugary snack, or the heavy plate of pasta does not soothe you. Instead, it drags your system into overdrive at the exact hour it should be shutting down. Instead of rest, you hand your body a long shift it never agreed to. Digestion is not a background process you can ignore. It is a complex job that demands energy and attention. When you eat late, your stomach churns, your blood sugar spikes, and your heart rate stays elevated. The body cannot repair itself because it is too busy breaking down what you just fed it. Even foods that look harmless often betray you once you are asleep. Chocolate hides caffeine that lingers in your blood. A spicy meal sets you up for reflux that jolts you awake at 2 in the morning. Even a massive bowl of healthy food keeps your system awake and alert. You invited in chaos when you thought you were inviting comfort. The trap is cruel because you think you are relaxing, but you are only stealing tomorrow's energy. Late-night eating is not rest. It is sabotage disguised as reward. If you want real healing, you cannot keep handing your body battles at midnight. Sleep cannot restore you while your system is still fighting dinner. You try to leap from chaos to calm as if your body has a switch. 1 minute you are glued to screens, conversations, and demands, and the next you expect silence to carry you into peace. But your body does not obey like that. Without a signal to close the day, it refuses to cross the bridge from survival into rest. Falling asleep is not the same as powering off a machine. It is a process that your nervous system must be invited into. A ritual is not a luxury. It is communication. It is how you teach your body that the fight is over and that it is safe. Without it, the storm of the day follows you straight into bed. The culture you live in has convinced you that stopping is weakness. You are told to hustle until you collapse and to see rest as something to be earned. But skipping a wind-down ritual does not prove your strength. It only ensures your downfall. You slam into the night with brakes locked, calling the chaos insomnia when it is really neglect. What your body longs for is not complicated. It craves ritual the way a child craves a lullaby. A pause to breathe, to unclench, to step into silence. It does not need to be elaborate or perfect. A quiet stretch, a slow breath, a candle burning low is enough. With it, sleep feels like home instead of a battle. You can dim the lights, close the laptop, and pull the blankets over your head, but your body knows the truth. All day you carried the weight of unfinished conversations, hidden frustrations, and silent worries. That tension does not vanish just because the clock says bedtime. It lingers in your blood, humming like an alarm that never shuts off. Cortisol, your stress hormone, should fall when the sun goes down, but for many, it never does. Instead, it keeps pulsing through your system as if danger is still near. Your body stays braced, your heart steady but restless, your muscles locked in quiet defense. You are lying in bed, yet your biology is pacing the room. And this is why sleep feels impossible, even when you are exhausted. Rest is surrender, and the body cannot surrender when it believes there is a threat. It holds on to every worry, every regret, every unspoken thought like weapons at the ready. You may call it insomnia, but your nervous system calls it survival. The real enemy of rest is not only noise or light, but the unprocessed storm inside you. Stress is energy your body does not know where to put, so it runs in circles long into the night. If you want sleep to restore you, you must first teach your body that it is safe. Without that, the night becomes a battlefield dressed in silence. You think your bedroom is a sanctuary, but your body disagrees. The blinds leak streaks of light that whisper morning long before dawn. The hum of appliances, the distant traffic, even the subtle vibration of notifications bleed into your nervous system. Your environment speaks a language of alertness, and your body listens even when you pretend not to. Temperature plays its tricks too. A room too hot suffocates your sleep, making your body restless and damp with sweat. A room too cold keeps you curled in defense, never truly relaxing into deep rest. The mattress that once felt fine now presses into your spine like a stone. Even clutter scattered across the room becomes noise your brain cannot silence. We forget that sleep requires trust. Your body will not fully surrender if it feels unsafe, uncomfortable, or exposed. The leaking light convinces your brain the day has already begun. The uneven surfaces remind you of tension. The scattered objects trigger the quiet guilt of unfinished tasks. None of these are dramatic alone, but together they erode your rest night after night. The truth is simple yet hard to face. Your body cannot recharge in a space that feels unsettled. Sleep is not just about closing your eyes. It is about being held by your surroundings. If your room feels like chaos, your mind will echo it. And until you reclaim that space as a true refuge, your nights will keep betraying you as surely as your days exhaust you. You tell yourself it is fine because you stayed in bed for 8 or 9 hours. You think the math will save you, that more time unconscious will cover for the mistakes. But sleep is not a bank account you can balance with deposits. Quantity cannot undo the damage of poor quality, and your body knows it every morning you wake up foggy. Deep rest is not measured by the clock alone. It is measured by cycles, by rhythm, by the architecture of sleep itself. If your body never reaches the stages where healing happens, then it does not matter how long you lie there. You might as well be drifting in shallow water, never touching the depths where real restoration lives. This belief that time in bed equals recovery is one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves. You blame stress, work, or genetics, but you ignore the truth. The problem is not only how much you sleep, but how you sleep. A long night riddled with interruptions and shallow phases will leave you weaker than a shorter night of true rest. The clock cannot heal you, only quality can. Sleep is not a number to hit, it is a state to reach. Until you respect the difference, you will keep mistaking survival for recovery. And every time you convince yourself that quantity cancels quality, you push healing further away. It is not about hours, it is about depth. You do not need a mountain retreat, a guru, or a miracle app. What you need is to give your body what it has been begging for all along: safety, rhythm, and permission. Healing your nights begins not with extremes, but with consistency. Small steps signal your biology that the war is finally over and peace can return. Start by protecting the hour before bed like it is sacred. Dim the lights, shut the screens, and let your nervous system land. Replace chaos with quiet rituals that whisper, "It is safe now." A stretch, a book, a journal, a moment of silence. Simple cues that train your body to remember the rhythm of rest. Your bedroom must become an ally, not an enemy. Cool the air, clear the clutter, and let darkness wrap you like armor. Build a space that feels like refuge instead of reminder, a place that cradles your nervous system instead of provoking it. You deserve to feel at home in the very place where you are meant to heal. And above all, stop chasing hours and start protecting depth. Rest is not earned by exhaustion. It is claimed by intention. The moment you honor sleep as essential instead of optional, everything shifts. Energy returns, clarity sharpens, and mornings no longer feel like survival. Night by night, you reclaim yourself,